The Murdaugh family, MUR-dok, is a regional dynasty of American lawyers in the Lowcountry of South Carolina. They have a prominent history in the area as from 1920 to 2006. 3 members of the family consecutively served as district attorneys, in charge of prosecuting all criminal cases in the state's 14th Circuit Court, leading locals to call the 5-county district Murdaugh Country. Randolph Murdaugh Sr. founded the civil litigation firm that is now the Parker Law Group LLP, in 1910, in Hampton, South Carolina, which specializes in personal injury litigation. Richard, Alex, Murdaugh and other members of the Murdaugh family, since 2014, have been the subject of multiple investigations involving wrongful death, murder, corruption, and other alleged crimes, including insurance fraud, defrauding clients, theft of insurance payouts, and drug and alcohol-related charges. In 2019, Alex's son, Paul Murdaugh, and some of his close friends were implicated in a fatal boating accident, with later allegations of special treatment. In June 2021, Paul Murdaugh and his mother, Maggie, were shot to death on the grounds of Moselle, the Murdaugh hunting estate. Alex was subsequently charged with their murders. Alex was also accused of embezzlement from his law firm and resigned in September 2021. After being incarcerated since October 2021, Murdaugh's murder trial began in January 2023. Murdaugh was found guilty of murdering his wife and son, and the next day, March 2, 2023, he was sentenced to life in prison, twice over, without the possibility of parole. 14th District. Map showing the judicial circuit districts of South Carolina. From 1920 to 2006, 3 members of the Murdaugh family served as solicitors for a 5-county area of South Carolina's Lowcountry region. In South Carolina, the solicitor, analogous to the district attorney in other U.S. jurisdictions, is in charge of prosecuting all criminal cases in the jurisdiction. The 14th Circuit District oversees Allendale, Colton, Hampton, Beaufort, and Jasper counties. It is the only judicial circuit in the state to cover 5 counties. Described by NPR as one of South Carolina's most prominent legal families, the Murdaughs were featured in the cover story for a 1989 issue of Carolina Lawyer magazine. According to columnist Kathleen Parker, the jurisdiction of the 14th Circuit District was known as Murdaugh Country, where the justice system was regarded as rigged and local attorneys would move to settle a case rather than go to trial. Because of the family's decades-long control of the office of solicitor, they wielded enormous judicial and political power for almost a century. After several Murdaugh family members were implicated in a fatal boating accident in 2019, and after 2 family members were murdered in a double homicide in 2021, the family's influence on the local judicial system was scrutinized. Background. Randolph Murdaugh Sr. was born in Barneville in 1887, the youngest son of Josiah Putnam Murdaugh Sr., a wealthy Lowcountry businessman, and Annie Marvin Murdaugh, née Davis. His maternal grandfather, Joseph W. Davis, was a cousin of Confederate President Jefferson Davis. Murdaugh attended the U.S. Naval Academy and graduated from the University of South Carolina, USC, Law School in 1910. Upon graduation, he founded a one-man law firm in Hampton, South Carolina, which is 78 miles, 126 kilometers, inland west of Charleston. He also ran a local daily newspaper, the Hampton County Herald. In 1920 he became solicitor in the 14th Judicial Circuit and held the position until 1940, when he was killed in a collision between his car and a freight train. According to news reports at the time, his car crashed into a Charleston and Western Carolina freight train at a grade crossing about 5 miles south of Barneville. Murdaugh Sr. was succeeded by his son, Randolph Buster Murdaugh Jr., who served from 1940 to 1986. In his 46 years in office, Buster ran opposed only twice. A few months after the death of his father, Buster sued the railroad for $100,000, equal to more than $2 million in 2023, claiming that poor maintenance of the rail crossing had contributed to the accident. Although there was speculation that the crash was no accident, with some believing that Murdaugh Sr. intentionally stopped his car on the tracks to commit suicide or that the crash was alcohol-related, the railroad settled the lawsuit for an undisclosed sum. Buster was known for his love of chewing tobacco, his courtroom prowess and his flair for acting out murders before spellbound juries. According to Professor John Bloom of Cornell Law School, Buster was rebuked several times by the state Supreme Court for his closing arguments in several death penalty cases. In 1956, he was indicted by a federal grand jury for allegedly warning a bootlegger to move a moonshine still into a neighboring county to avoid the revenues. He was acquitted. Buster retired in 1986 and died in 1998. Buster was succeeded as a solicitor by his son, Randolph Murdaugh III, who took office in 1986. He ran unopposed in every election and held office until retiring in 2006. Randolph III was married to Elizabeth Alexander and had 4 children including 3 sons. Randolph IV, called Randy, and Richard Alexander, called Alex, B. 1968, both of whom entered the family firm, and John Marvin. In 2019, Randolph III was awarded the Order of the Palmetto, South Carolina's highest civilian recognition, by Governor Henry McMaster. He retired in 2006 and died of natural causes June 10, 2021. Alex was born on May 27, 1968. He graduated from University of South Carolina in 1990 and from the University of South Carolina School of Law in 1994. He soon joined the family firm, volunteering part-time in the 14th Circuit Solicitor's Office. Alex married Margaret Kennedy Branstetter, called Maggie, and had 2 sons. Richard Alexander Jr., called Buster, and Paul Terry, who was born in 1999. Peters Murdaugh Parker Law Group. The Murdaugh family law firm, the Parker Law Group, previously Peters Murdaugh Parker Law Group, PMPED, specializes in personal injury litigation. The firm built its success in the early 2000s due to a state law that made it easier for plaintiffs to forum shop. The law permitted South Carolina residents to file a suit in any county in which an out-of-state company owned property and conduct business, regardless of where an accident took place. In Hampton County, trial judges generally avoided transferring cases, and plaintiffs' attorneys had a reputation for abusing subpoena power. This legal climate led to the 14th Circuit District being named the 3rd worst judicial hellhole for defendants by the American Tort Reform Association. Because of PMPED's success in suing CSX Transportation, the county was known as a site of pilgrimage for those with personal injury lawsuits against railroads. PMPED's offices became known locally as the house that CSX built. Due to the firm's activities, doing business in Hampton County became a legal liability, resulting in the county losing potential employers. Reforms enacted in 2005 by both the state Supreme Court and General Assembly changed South Carolina's corporate venue law, ending plaintiffs' ability to easily forum shop in Hampton County. PMPED changed its name to the Parker Law Group in 2022. Legal issues and murders. Alex Murdaugh and his associates are involved in a web of complex criminal charges and investigations with activities dating back to at least 2014. Ongoing investigations. Death of Stephen Smith. On July 8, 2015, Stephen Smith, a 19-year-old nursing student at Orangeburg Calhoun Technical College, was found dead from blunt force trauma on a rural road in Hampton County, and the case ruled a hit and run with no suspects arrested. Smith was openly gay and a high school classmate of Alex Murdaugh's oldest son, Buster. Witnesses interviewed as part of the original investigation repeatedly implicated Buster as having been involved in a relationship with Stephen, but the case went cold. According to the Greenville News, rumors hinting at a cover-up and the possible involvement of one or more members of the Murdaugh family began circulating around the Hampton County area soon after Smith's death, and according to the Beaufort County Island Packet, the case reeked of insider interference. In June 2021, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, SLED, reopened the investigation into Smith's death, based on evidence found while investigating the deaths of Alex Murdaugh's wife and son, which had also occurred in June 2021, for which Alex was charged with murder. No charges or indictments have been issued relating to Smith's killing as of March 2023. Death of Gloria Satterfield. On February 2, 2018, the Murdaugh's longtime housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield, suffered a severe head injury when she fell down the front steps at the family's Moselle estate and died on February 26, 2018, of complications, including a stroke. It had been reported as a trip and fall accident, but no coroner was notified, no autopsy was performed, and the death certificate, incongruously, said it was by natural causes. A coroner testified that describing her death on the death certificate as natural was improper. Satterfield's two sons were awarded an insurance settlement for the accidental and/or natural death, but by 2021, they had not received any money. According to multiple indictments, Alex Murdaugh, Chad Westendorf, and attorney Corey Fleming conspired to steal the Satterfields' $4.3 million insurance policy settlement. The scam worked by diverting the insurance payout to Alex's bank account, then not notifying the Satterfields that the insurance settlement had occurred. It involved forgery, Murdaugh's law firm PMPED, and Palmetto State Bank. The Satterfield sons, represented by malpractice attorney Eric Bland, were ultimately able to recover more than $6.5 million during subsequent lawsuits. On September 15, 2021, authorities announced they opened a criminal investigation into Satterfield's 2018 death. In June 2022, authorities received permission to exhume Satterfield's body to continue investigating her death. Death of Mallory Beach. In February 2019, Alex's younger son, Paul Murdaugh, was charged with 3 felonies, following the death of his teenage friend, Mallory Beach, in a boating accident. Paul's blood alcohol content was 0.286, over 3 times the legal limit for operating a motor vehicle, though at the time of the accident, Paul was underage and the legal limit did not apply. Yet, despite being the driver of the boat that slammed into a bridge, Paul was not given a field sobriety test, was not taken to jail for booking, nor was he ever handcuffed. This led to the speculation that he had received special treatment by virtue of his family connections. The judge denied a prosecutorial request that he wear an alcohol monitor. In court documents, Beach's family implicated Alex and Buster in providing alcohol to the then underage Paul. As of September 2021, SLED was investigating allegations that police may have been pressured not to charge Paul. The family of Connor Cook, another of the teens aboard the boat during the accident, filed a lawsuit, claiming Alex had encouraged the Cook family to retain a longtime lawyer friend of Alex's, Corey Fleming, in order to orchestrate the protection of Paul. The Beach wrongful death case began the unraveling of Alex Murdaugh's criminal enterprise by exposing financial information that led to an inquiry into Murdaugh's alleged financial wrongdoing. In the days before the killing of his wife and son on June 7, 2021, a judge had scheduled a hearing for June 10, 2021, to consider a motion to compel Murdaugh to turn over his financial information. Likewise, his wife Maggie had arranged for a forensic accountant to review the family finances. Assisted suicide fraud scheme. On September 3, 2021, Alex resigned from PMPED after the firm confronted him over his years of suspected embezzlement. According to the New York Times, the amount involved was in the millions. From this point forward, Alex Murdaugh's house of cards began to collapse, and the case became a national sensation, making regular mainstream headlines. On September 4, Alex was allegedly shot in the head while changing a tire on a rural road. He claimed a truck slowed down, shot him, and drove away. The injury was superficial, and he was released from the hospital soon after. On September 6, Alex released a statement saying he was entering a rehabilitation facility in Orlando, Florida, for substance abuse treatment. On September 14, SLED announced that Alex's former client and distant cousin, Curtis Edward Smith, who had also been Alex's source for an oxycodone addiction, had been arrested for having conspired with Alex to kill him in the roadside shooting so that his remaining son Buster would receive a $10 million life insurance payout. Smith was charged with assisted suicide, aggravated assault and battery, and insurance fraud. Alex, suffering from massive depression and wanting to kill himself, admitted to concocting assisted suicide as a murder scheme. He was motivated by a mistaken belief that his son Buster would not receive the insurance money if he committed suicide himself. Allegations of embezzlement from the dead. Attorney Justin Bamberg represents 8 people from whom he says Alex Murdaugh stole money while serving as their lawyer. He later said the total number of Murdaugh victims might be between 30 and 50, and the total amount stolen could be as high as $20 million. According to the Island Packet, it is unclear where the money went. The first case involved Gloria Satterfield, Alex Murdaugh's housekeeper, who died in a fall on his property in 2018. Satterfield's two sons were awarded a settlement of about $3.4 million, but by 2021 they had received nothing. Alex Murdaugh was charged with 2 felonies related to the missing money. Hakeem Pinkney was a deaf African-American man involved in a 2009 traffic accident that required permanent life support. Murdaugh personally represented the Pinkney family in a lawsuit against the manufacturer of the tires on the vehicle. The family was awarded a settlement. In 2011, Pinkney died at a care facility after his ventilator was, according to a Pinkney lawyer, mysteriously unplugged. Murdaugh's law firm handled a wrongful death lawsuit against the care facility. Murdaugh allegedly introduced Pinkney's family to Russell Laffitte, the CEO of Palmetto State Bank, to manage the Pinkney finances due to the size of the settlements. The Pinkneys received some money, but an estimated $800,000 to $1 million went missing. In January 2022, the board of Palmetto State Bank fired Laffitte after allegations came to light he was involved with Murdaugh to defraud Pinkney. The board is composed mostly of the Laffitte family, who founded the bank in 1907. Blondell Gray was killed in an ambulance crash in 2012. According to Bamberg, Gray's family is owed more than $112,000, and the money was stolen by Murdaugh. Sandra Taylor was a Beaufort woman killed by a drunk driver in Colton County in 2019. Indictments show Murdaugh reportedly told Taylor's mother she would only receive $30,000 as a settlement when that figure was over $180,000. Charges, lawsuits, and sanctions. As of March 2023, Alex Murdaugh faced a total of 102 grand jury criminal charges relating to financial fraud and drugs. There were 3 charges from the Hampton County Grand Jury and 99 from the state grand jury. He is also a defendant in 3 separate lawsuits. He has been disbarred, has had his assets seized, and is currently incarcerated for 2 consecutive life sentences for the murder of his wife and son. Beach wrongful death lawsuit. The Murdaugh family, including Alex, are defendants in a wrongful death lawsuit filed in March 2019 and scheduled for trial in 2023. The lawsuit accuses the Murdaugh family of enabling Paul Murdaugh's underage drinking. Mallory Beach died in a boating accident involving a boat owned by Alex that Paul was driving while extremely intoxicated. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.